We should be live now, production. We should be live now, Jim. Uh-oh. Oh, not yet. Thank you for the override. All right, Jim. Production almost ended the stream. We are casting from Vegas today. Get your camera off there, buddy. You know the routine. What's going on here? All right. We're going to get... what's going on with production here? All right. So, let's see here. Production. Big ups. And then y'all make sure y'all watching this because this is Drake. In fact, let me turn Drake down because YouTube's going to ding us. Big ups, y'all. We got Mouthpiece Included. We hope you brought your mouthpiece. We're going to be talking blacks in baseball, or the lack thereof, the 5 W's. Why don't we go after that bag? You know, we pretty much sufficiently as a nation, we go after every single bag that's to be gotten. I mean, maybe not hockey as much. That's another show. That's a great show now that I think about it. But baseball. Today, we're talking baseball. And my fundamental question to you guys, to the YouTube world, is why don't we pursue that bag? I guess that question would be the younger men. But if we're older men, we were all once younger men, and we all made decisions. So today, in the building, as we get into this, as productions, pulling their butt out of their wazoo, as we get into this today, what we're going to do is introduce you to later, coming up. We have a baseball coach who's from the city of Chicago, who's currently coaching Little League Baseball, but he's coaching out there in the Boobs. He's in the Boobs. We also have a current baseball coach who's coaching baseball in the greater city of Chicago, right? So this is great, the perspective we have on the panel today. And they both happen to be urban gentlemen. They're not pink. They're not white. They're not Latinx. And so we're going to unpack the 5 W's, as I said, the who, the what, the why not. Why don't we lace them up? So that's where we're at. And as production is, once again, still pulling its, hey, production, Jim, pull your head out of your butt. Jim, we're doing the best we can here, Bob. Just stand by. We got it going. We're casting here from Vegas. We're in Sin City here. We're drinking. All right, there, Bob. All right, Bob. So as production is pulling its thing, let's go ahead and introduce these guys and have these two gentlemen go ahead and introduce themselves, give a short introduction to what they're about. Did they play baseball? And then who they're coaching and things of this nature. And then we'll get production going. So if you gentlemen could start your cameras. All right, so we got... All right, so this is JB. You guys might know him. He's a friend of TATN. He also has appeared. He was actually the first to sit down with us. Second Silverback to sit down with us on the Self Love Show. Jacob, the OG from Southeast Side, was first. So big ups to this brother. And then we got Ace. He was the best man actually at my wedding. And both these guys have been dedicated to our community and to the game of baseball for some reason, and it was a passion of mine. But right now, I'm going to throw it to you guys, and as production gets its, head out of its wazoo.
Yo, what's up, fellas? And Brother Mills, thanks for having me on the show again. I appreciate being on it, and I like what you guys are doing. I think this is an interesting topic, so I appreciate you reaching out. Ace, been a while since I've seen you, but love you, brother. Good to see you.
Yes.
Yes, sir. In regards to my background and as it pertains to baseball, I started playing at about the age of 7, organized baseball. And I was introduced to the game really by my grandmother as a little kid, believe it or not. My grandma, rest in peace. She liked baseball a whole lot. She loved the Cubs.
Cubs, my grandmother too, bro. Go ahead. She liked Harry Carey. Listen to Harry go over the game. Yeah, go ahead. That's crazy, man. Yeah.
Exactly. So she loved the sport. And then my dad and my mom, they both enjoyed sports as well. So they would throw to me and all that kind of thing. So I got into it at about 7. In terms of where I played quickly, and I know we'll get into this later, I played the majority of my, baseball at Gately Stadium, 103rd, and Cottage Grove in the city. That was for Roseland. Yeah, that was for Roseland. So we shared that park with Roseland.
You're in that thuggish league with all those predators, man. Them kids will steal everything. You come in there, you leave your bat, your gloves gone. But go ahead. I'm keeping it 100, everybody. I'm not saying he was that. But some of them teams in the Roseland Little League, boy. But go ahead. Big ups to Roseland. Big ups.
Yeah. Big ups to Roseland, man.
Big ups.
Real strong program back in the 70s and 80s. Pee Wee League, Little League, Pony League. Back then we had Connie Mack, which was, after Pony League. And then I also played high school ball at Lindblom, which is inner city public school down in Inglewood. I stopped playing ball organized at about the age of 18.
So did you play your senior season at Lindblom, bro?
No, I started out, but we were actually, I did not. We moved our field from 60th and Damon over to about 69th and Halsted. And that's deadly. That's deadly. That's deadly after hours. So I was driving.
That's crazy.
Both of them were deadly.
Only in Chicago can a kid's baseball career end because somebody decided to Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, so that's not, me living in the 90s.
Yes, sir.
We can get into that later, and I'm going to turn over the 80s. But me living in Grove Heights, which is basically 103rd in the 90s, and being in the heart of Inglewood and going from 61st and Walcott to 69th and Halsted by bus, and then taking Halsted to the crib, it's not a good look. So
it was hard enough for y'all to get to Lindblom.
Yeah.
Stories.
Yeah, now you're adding a whole nother dynamic. And then after the games in the city, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What time were baseball games played in the public league? And then we'll throw it to Ace for the intro. What time did y'all normally play?
Yeah, so the games are generally about, 4:30 or 5 o'clock. Okay. And there really wasn't transportation to the school. So going to Curie, going to Dunbar, going to
on your own.
You're on your own. And so that's the difference between maybe football and basketball and baseball.
Yeah. But the thing about baseball, because I used to see Marlon, you can walk around with that bat though.
Yeah.
You can carry that weapon. You walk around with two of your guys on the baseball team and y'all got bats. I wish y'all would. But now, Ace, I don't want to digress. My mom's in the back. I don't want to go too far.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah. Everybody said hi, Mom. Ace, get your introduction, please. Your background in baseball, and then we're going to unpack it.
Oh, well, my
production is ready after you're done. Go ahead, bro.
Production's ready. Great. Mm-hmm. Thanks to the TATN network for having me back on. I'm Ace, Coach Ace from Jackie Robinson West, Little League.
Big ups to Jackie Robinson, bro.
I have my older son, Joe Lucas, who played for Jackie Robinson into the early 2000. I think his last team was in 2012. He was on the junior, played for the junior state championship for Little League. And he went on to play baseball for Kenwood High School and college baseball for Embry-Riddle University. And he's currently at Florida Memorial University trying to continue his baseball career. And my youngest son, Terrence, Lil T.
Yeah, Lil T. Deuce.
He's on the 10-year-old Jackie Robinson baseball team, and that's basically my baseball career because I was a strikeout king as far as playing strikeout back in the days. I wasn't into baseball.
I had friends like you. It was a vision. It was a vision issue, and that's all it was, bro. I had friends like you, boy. Yeah, that's all it was. It's a vision issue. If you were standing there playing strikeout, It was vision. If you had to find you the right eye doctor that got you the right pair of goggles, you'd have been ripping the ball like everybody else, bro.
No,
We
not
were
that I was
unsophisticated.
striking out. I was playing strikeout. I like to hoop more than I like to play baseball.
Oh, I thought you meant you were the strikeout king, meaning you were whiffing. That's what we mean by strikeout. Either you're striking people out when you're the strikeout king, or you're whiffing. But I see what you mean now. You were the king of. Yeah, he was the king of playing strikeout.
That's a Chicago term, strikeout. When you paint that graffiti on the wall and go buy you a couple rubber balls and compete all day until the balls are either on somebody's roof or torn apart. So,
and you have standards. Invisible Man on first. That was a single. That was a double. If you go there, it's a triple. Yeah, boy.
Yeah. That's all on PlayStation now. You know, the kids don't go out there and do that kind of thing.
You remember the arguments for balls and strikes? And if the ball was a little wet, you could be like, "Nah, it's got that print right there, boy. That's a strike." Yeah. You come all the way from the mound, be like, "That's a strike, boy. Quit playing with me."
Right there. Right there. Yeah. You see how hard I was throwing the ball? That's why that white paint's right there.
We were throwing our arms out, rubber balls, like man, that was crazy, boy. That's why you don't see pink and white kids doing that. But we digress. So big ups to the intro, and also big ups to production. You know, we've always said if you don't do this yourself, and then Mom said, I'm in Henderson, Nevada right now, and Mom said that the Cubs. I don't know if you guys are aware of that, but apparently the Chicago Cubs do their thing here.
Yeah.
Their spring or something.
Yeah.
So we got to take care of some business. There's a 5-second video, a 30-second video, and then we're going to run the promo joint. And then, we're going to talk about who got you involved in baseball. Ace, who got you involved in baseball? We know who got him involved.
Joe.
Got you. Yes, I got you. So don't answer that, because I want to ask you what got him involved, but don't answer it yet, because that's what I want to get into, because something happened, bro. I know where I was at, man. We loved baseball, and something happened, man. Man, baseball was right there with football and basketball, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I'll answer after the promo.
Yeah, just give us a second, and but y'all can talk, man. Go ahead and talk. This is just fair use, y'all. 1976.
Yeah, I was on a couple baseball teams, but they all seemed to falter because the money situations or the coaches, and my buddies were playing for Jackie Robinson, but I didn't get on. I had a problem with the coach, the neighborhood coach.
He didn't like you. He didn't like your attitude.
We got into it about running on his grass or something, and I never got on the team. So I should have just went to the next park, but I went to the next park and played basketball.
Can y'all?
Yeah, which is interesting that you say that, Ace, because when I was growing up,
balance in favor of fair use.
All right, y'all, go ahead. We just wanted to get fair use in there at least.
Okay. Yeah, Ace raises a real good point, because when I was playing, and this was years ago, it's 30 years ago, there was so much more demand for baseball. Everybody loved it, and there were a lot of people that played it. And it was a lot more affordable back then than it is now. If you're talking about competitive baseball, and Ace, you know that because your son went on to play college ball. To actually get that level of competition now, it costs a lot more. But back then, you had enough kids in my neighborhood, which was basically Roseland. Next neighborhood over was Rosemore,
right?
Where your partner on the Self Love Show, TATN Network, Torrey Smith, he played for South Side, which was over towards.
What did he play for South Shore, or he played for South Shore Little League, didn't he?
He played for South Shore and probably South Side. So they had South Side, and that was basically South Shore area.
And they had Southeast. They had Southeast Little League too. You remember Southeast?
Southeast. Southeast was 93rd. So 93rd is Stony.
They was competitive. Yeah.
Southeast was good. And in fact, and Ace would be able to appreciate this. In 1983, we had a whip in Roseland. That's my 12-year-old, and Southeast had a
Bro,
whip.
I think we played against y'all. Yeah, I remember, man. Like, bro, I played in Hyde Park Little League, and we used to.
Maybe that's where I
cold.
met Juris. You think that's where I met Juris? Me and JQ never been able to figure it out.
It had to be.
But we thought it was baseball. But I know in '83 we had a whip, Ace. But Southeast had a whip.
Okay.
Hey, did y'all ever play games in Washington Park?
Gage Park, Washington Park. We won a lot of games, but we ended up losing to like our rival, which was Southeast. And I think Southeast lost to JRW, and JRW went on to win the whole thing. They was the national champions in '83.
Bro, it was so much. Bro, it was so much talent in the city of Chicago in baseball at that time. I'm telling you, if you could have taken the top out of Hyde Park, the top out of Southeast, the top out of J-Dub, like, and I remember we'd be playing, and they'd be like, "No, Jackie Robinson." Like, cats to be talking, you know what I mean, about other.
Right.
And my big brother, one of my brothers, played in Southeast Little League, and it was cold, bro. He made the All-Star, and he played Hyde Park Little League, bro. But it was so much talent just on the side. We ain't even talking about the West Side. Right. We ain't even talking about the West Side, bro.
Nah, it was a lot of talent. And that particular year, I think we all had squads that could do something. But JRW came out of the area, and they went on to win it all. They won it all in '80.
Yep. And I remember I was asleep on all that stuff that was going on. And man, we used to play. I was like, man, these cats, boy. Like when I was talking about Coney, let me send Coney this link, see if he could jump in. When he was on the show talking about, he had that knuckle curve. I was like, yeah, I remember y'all little ghetto kids used to come from Lindblom, throwing that freaky stuff, had them uniform. Boy, and we used to do, JB, like the stuff they used to be doing with their socks, you know what I mean, with the baseball socks. Cut them and put the swag. We used to bite a lot of that was going on, boy. We used to be biting all that swag. But then, you know, man, I hate what happened to our communities, bro.
Well, you look in the major leagues had a lot of players that looked like those kids from the South Side and were coming up from the South Side. So you want to aspire to be a baseball player. You're fast. You know you can hit the ball. You know you can pitch. You can do everything.
But bro, it was a tough. The way we played it, you had to be tough.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like baseball is kind of soft to these kids. Like these kids consider basketball soft. You know, it's all about football and gangster rap. But baseball, bro, no, to play that. When I hear these kids talk about I don't play because I don't want to get dirty and all that. Baseball was just that. You're gonna get dirty, you're gonna spit, you're gonna get hit by the ball, it might hit you in the face. You know what I mean? Baseball, you had to stand in there. But let me get on topic. We're on topic, but let me ask y'all just this question because I wanted to throw it to you, Ace. JB covered who got him involved, and Ace, you said that your son got you involved. So JB, I want to ask you, I know your kids play. Did you encourage them and or was that something organic from them just knowing your history of it?
Yeah, I think some of it's organic, and Ace will notice because he has kids that play. I noticed that 2 years of age, for example, my daughter could throw a ball up and hit it.
Man,
it's a lot of 8 or 9.
You know that's a skill at 2.
That's hands.
I had to learn. I remember I had to learn how to do that. I was older than 2. Go ahead. Yeah.
A lot of kids that are 8 or 9 will struggle with just simply throwing a ball.
Yes.
Up. So the fact that she could do it at 2, I knew that there could be a skill set there, and that came to fruition. I could tell by the age of 4 or 5, and she started playing ball when she was 5. I knew that, she could have talent and that I could harness that. And that was really baseball. It's funny that you mentioned these sports. I always felt good like you, Ace. I felt good about hoop. I always felt good about hoop. I always felt good about football. But baseball was something that I actually could be more dominant in. So I could pitch. I just had a natural feel for that sport. So that really was my main one. So when you see it in your kids, you kind of can pick up on it. And when she started at 5, my little guy, he hit a 250-foot off the gate last night too. He's
nice.
Look at that proud daddy smile.
Hey, his son be raking every game he tell me his son played. He raked somebody. He raked something.
Yeah, so you see it early. You roll them a ball, they throw a ball back, that kind of thing. Things you do with a baby. And everybody's going to do different things. Some people are going to read books. You're going to read poems. You're going to toss some balls. You're going to do different things and get them involved in different things. But they all liked it. and they all seem to have the psyche for it. Because baseball, as you guys know, you got to stay steady in that sport, Mills. You got to have a head for it, or you got to put the baseball down. Because to be great in baseball, you only need 3 hits out of every 10 at bats. I mean, which
you have
means
to be able to deal with that too. You have to be able to deal with knowing that 4 out of 10, high school 4 out of 10 is great.
7 out of 10, you're either going to strike out or you're going to ground out, fly out. So you
gonna
got
look bad most of the time.
Yeah. So they had it. They had the psyche for it, I felt, and they had the hand-eye coordination and the basics. So from there, you just give it a shot. And
but if they're raised around, like, were your kids raised like in a suburban area? Because that's pro baseball. Like, for baseball. I mean professional. I'm saying like if they're raised in an area where all the other kids are like, hey, let's go play baseball. Hey, let's go to the batting cages. Baseball. And that's kind of how it was when I was at Ray. When I came up, it was a lot of kids playing baseball. We had the pink kids there, and they baseball. So we jumped on that. And Ace, I'm wondering, like, with your son being in the city, how do they get an affliction for baseball as opposed to basketball and football?
Well, my older son, Joe, he went to after school at Grand Crossing Park, and there was a coach there, Coach Kelly, who taught the kids everything: roller skating, stilts, baseball, basketball, every skill. Just like old school coaches used to do. Like,
yes,
I'm gonna teach y'all.
They're going to teach you the fundamentals of gymnastics just to see where you get your wheelhouse at. Right. Yes.
Right. So he started Joe hitting left-handed, even though he's right-handed.
He knew he was righty. Okay.
Yeah. So he can't hit right. Well, I don't know. I can't say he can't hit right-handed.
Yeah.
He's never hit right-handed his entire life, although he's a right-hand thrower.
So he learned from the beginning how to bat from the opposite side that was natural to him.
Yeah.
Right? But never really messed around after that to try to be a switch hitter or anything like that.
No. He's always been a left-handed hitter, a left-handed power hitter.
But he throws, but his glove is,
Yeah, he's a right-hand thrower.
Ace, let me hit on a phenomena real quick.
Yeah, I want to hear that from the coaches.
So something that, he might not have realized as a little kid, but a coach may have told him, or he may have come across it or read it as he got older. He is going to be a power hitter. You know why? Because his hand-eye leads with his strong arm. He bats from the left, which means because I used to wonder, Mills, I'm a lefty, but no, you would never know I'm a lefty because but you end up being ambidextrous. And in baseball, Ace, like your son, he's leading with the hand that's his.
Right.
Did we lose him?
That's how it was with me on the other side. I write with this hand.
Right.
So you get the ball, you like, man, these missiles, and you get it. So I just wanted to hit on that phenomena because that's interesting to hear that he was taught to go that way and he's leading with that. Yeah.
And that he never, like, I'm a righty. And you better believe I tried to stand in there playing strikeout. I tried my damnedest to get some solid contact. I mean, I know if I would have stayed in there, I could have probably been a slap, from the left side, you get some slap contact. But it didn't make sense to me. I'm like, when I could stand on the right and rake, I'm just saying, like,
Right. Well, from the time he was 5 years old at Grand Crossing Park up until he went over to Jackie Robinson when he was 10. He hit left-handed, and you could see he had a special talent for baseball. Now, his younger brother's a little different. He can hit, but he's totally right-handed, but he got that two-seam fastball.
Yeah, so freaky ghetto stuff. They always got that freak movement on the fastball. Like, y'all, so baseball is being marketed towards us or market like hold on, we got Paulin. I gotta let him know we're doing a live show here. Maybe he wants to participate. Let me go here. Hold on a second here. Brother Paulin, thanks for calling Mouthpiece Included. Don't forget to bring your mouthpiece. What's going on, bro? You got something to add to the content, or are you off work?
I'm off work. Big ups to the show and the live production. unfortunately, I didn't know y'all's broadcast right now, so I can't chime in on topic. But just want to show love and say I got love for y'all brothers doing this.
Hey, big ups, man. Hey, on your ride home, check us out while we doing the show, and then like, share, and subscribe. And then once we end it, bro, I'm gonna hit you up. I'm in Henderson though. I don't know if you I'm in Green Valley, but go to the crib, bro. I'll just come to you. You know, I got a whip.
Right, no doubt. I got gas money too, but I got that relaxation over here, in the man cave.
Absolutely, looking forward to it. All right, bro. We're having a live show right now. You know, we're live. So, all right, yo. Nice.
Hey, Mills. Big ups to pulling to that new.
Yeah.
I wanted to say, you asked a question to Ace, and something I wanted to hit on.
Go ahead, bro.
That
Please.
fits into what Ace was saying. Obviously, we can get into the socioeconomics around baseball and how expensive it is and that kind of thing. What happened in the late 90s, I'll make this quick. In the 70s, Jackie Robinson was founded, okay? And it was founded by some strong guys. So I understand Ace saying he didn't play. Let me let Brother Coney in here as I make this comment.
Yeah, please. I'd love to hear from him. And Tori said he was South Shore Little League. He was South Shore. But go ahead, bro.
Yep. That makes sense. Okay.
50th anniversary this year, Jackie Robinson.
Yeah.
So we'll introduce Brother Coney after he finishes this. So, Coney, we'll get you on after JB wraps this up. Go ahead, bro. JB, I want to hear that. Drop that jewel.
Yeah, Brother Coney, it's good to see you. Yeah, the thing I wanted to say, because it filters in the way you asked Ace. So in the 70s, 1971 to be exact, right? 50 years this year for Jackie Robinson. It was founded, and it was a real strong program. And there were a number of strong programs, around the city that, like we already talked about. But Jackie Robinson was one that sustained because it had success. A lot of the ball players that came from the city ran through there. And I would say, in my opinion, 80% of the power behind Jackie Robinson was also the power at Simeon. So Simeon was also a power high school in baseball. It never has not been. It always has been since the 70s easy. So Simeon has been a power.
I've never heard this connection. Talk to me about this connection for Simeon and Simeon and Jackie Robinson. I want to hear about this, bro.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, we get into a bunch of things. I'm going to make a really quick point, but Simeon is an interesting school. Obviously vocational, but they don't really have borders. So we won't get into high schools and that kind of thing. But because Simeon doesn't have borders, they pull the ball players from 103rd. They pull the best from Inglewood, and then they pull the best from Brainerd. So they pull from all the different places. And because they're there, it's like they're linked into Jackie Robinson, which is in their hundreds as well. So that happened in the 70s. Those were always strong. But as baseball got to be more expensive, I think for ball players, like it's very expensive now for competitive ball. You're talking about getting to the big leagues. For competitive ball is very expensive. But what happened, I would give it 15, 20 years ago, the Chicago White Sox, worked with a couple of our guys, one of my good buddies, and they started up the Amateur City Elite program, the ACE program. And through this program, the White Sox sponsored the uniforms. They sponsor the bats. They sponsor everything that goes into baseball tournaments and entry fees. Wow. And they take the elite players out of the city. So with them doing that, the Chicago White Sox, and big ups to Kenny Reynolds, and working with my boy Kevin Cole, and big mix over there. I'll let Ace get on that later.
Kenny Foreman.
Yeah, Rob Fletcher, the new. So that program, they probably sent easily over 100 Black kids to college on scholarships in the last 10 years. So the powerhouse is still over there where Ace is. If you weren't over there where Ace is, if you weren't affiliated, it's flat. My old hood all over the city is kind of flat. I know Pullman is coming back with something with my buddy Kevin Cole, but baseball is flat in the city. But where Ace is, with the success that never stopped, that's where you can go to play ball, a la the Jackie Robinson squad in 2012. The 12-year-olds that won, the Little League championship. The U.S. championship. 14,
Yeah,
yeah.
and then got
I
cheated.
had my jersey on earlier.
Yeah, and then got cheated. Hey, so we got Brother Joe in the building, and so if you could just let everybody know so we can get you caught up with your baseball background and what I had asked the panel before you joined, bro. Who got you involved in baseball, and then also did you encourage your children to play, and do your children play? So that's where we are. Did you play? Who got you involved? Why did you play? And then do you encourage your children to play?
So I'm a product of JRW, and how I became part of JRW is really my affiliation with Lindblom, and one of the coaches from JRW saw me play, and they recruited me to play summer league at JRW. And I'm gonna tell you, it was a different kind of experience coming from JRW, come from the inner city, because back when I was coming up, there was always great athletes, but we didn't always have the great mentorship. And it came down to the coaching staff. And when I went to JRW,
you got to be taught baseball. Go ahead, bro. Yeah.
Although I've been playing for a number of years, and I did what I had to do to be successful in that environment, it wasn't until I got that leadership where I became a much better player. Now, the issue with me is that, I didn't really have the funds to actually travel to the leagues in JRW. Number one, they played on Sundays. And for me, my mom was like, no baseball on Sundays.
Church. Right.
And she granted that to me because, of how I, first of all, the coach talked to her. And then number one, I had to plead my case. But more importantly, those guys saw something in me where the coach came and picked me up from the south side of Chicago and took me out to the practice fields, because I didn't have any money. I didn't have any resources to take the bus out there. And the coaching that I got at JRW was phenomenal. I don't know what you guys talked about. I jumped on a call and I apologize, but what JB was saying for the last few seconds is absolutely correct. The resources I got from those guys were second to none. What they did is that they took all the best players from JRW, and that became the nucleus of the team that would travel around.
Yeah, they started going around the city beating the shit out of other leagues. I remember that. They just come. I'm like, who are these kids? How old are they? I always question their age. Yeah, I remember. We was cold though, boy. I don't take nothing away from us, boy. Hey, if y'all beat us, it was by 1 or 2 runs. I put that on my mama. Hey. We never got our respect. They always thought we were, spoiled kids. No, we was in struggle too. We was a Hyde Park Little League. Me and JB was talking about it, borrowing bats. And we always had a white boy or two that could pitch and throw some leather. And man, don't mess around. We played that. And JB was talking about that when the pre-meeting. Baseball, bro, it don't matter if you're 6'4", if you're playing in Cuba. How did you say that, Jay? That's the beauty of baseball. If these kids,
Joe.
Go ahead.
Yeah, brother Coney's going to know it. And I always told that to my daughter and both my sons that play ball. And by the way, Ace, my youngest is 9, so he plays on the 10 and under. So maybe they will catch at some point. We'll
talk offline. We're gonna set something up that never has got set up.
We got something for you.
Yeah. Hey, and me and Coney gonna put some money on it. Go ahead, bro. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. What I was saying, and the brothers will notice, is that baseball, I always found it to be a very unique sport. And like Joe Coney was saying, that coaches are coming to pick him up. See, baseball, it's a team sport. It's like basketball, football, any other team sport. But it has this individualism in it, like tennis or golf or boxing. You really are on your own when you go to bat. You're on your own when it's time to field. So if you have the psychological ability to do that, and a kid has that, if you train that and coach that, you can find a certain unique level of success there, because it really doesn't matter what your background is or what you're throwing or where you come from, because when I get in the box, it's just me and it's you, and I got 3 strikes to work with. And so if you can
That's how we
harness
felt in Hyde Park, bro. It didn't matter if they was thugs. That's how our coach used to. You're right, bro. Yep. But go ahead, wrap that up, and then I'm gonna throw it to Ace.
Just want to say it's that kind of a sport, and I always like that uniqueness because people say, "Hey, what is it about baseball that you like so much?" Because I like all the sports, but baseball is different. You being a basketball player, you understand, and I love hooping with you, by the way. But you understand that if a guy's open and you give it to him, you can get the most out of him. But if you snub him and you don't, it's the tricky game
Let me throw this to Ace. Here's what I feel about baseball, and I haven't played golf. And you remember I played football, basketball, and baseball. The difference to me in baseball is it is a team sport. Like, okay, in football, if you're the running back, you know your number's going to be called. You're a receiver, you know, X amount of times, they're going to call your play. You might get the ball, you might not. Basketball, you're a point guard, you know, you're a center. You got an idea. It's only 5 players. Baseball, it's like you just be sitting out there, bro. You know, sunflower seeds, whatever, you know, but you got to be ready. It's like life. It's like you just, but then a shot is coming, and you got to be able to, you know, make it look like, you know what I'm saying? And that's baseball, bro. You know, you stand up in there, but I throw it to Ace. You guys are the baseball guys. Ace, you got anything to add to this?
Well, you're talking about the appearance of baseball and what baseball is. I mean, the appearance of baseball is, you know, you're waiting on the ball to come to you. But every play, every pitch, every time that the ball goes into motion, everybody has something to do on the baseball field, from the pitcher to the catcher to the outfielders, whether the ball goes to the outfield or to the infielders. Everybody has something to do on every play. And that's what you're trying to develop in these kids from an early age to get them to the level of baseball where they can compete on a high level.
Like when you go to a major league game, you're like, man, the catcher's running down there every game. Right, but go ahead. Like every play, yeah. All that stuff that's going on. Yeah.
Right. So, but to go back to what Brother Coney was saying, the main thing for me, for Jackie Robinson, is it's a ministry, because you got kids that, some families have the money to pay for the equipment and their kids to have new cleats and do everything every year. But some of these kids, you're saving their lives. You're keeping them off the streets. And that's what we're coaching for. And that's what most of the volunteers are there for, to help those kids that can't buy new cleats, buy new bats, new gloves every year, because they need some place to play. They need some place to go in the summertime. Some of these parents, some of the mothers have to drop their kids off to go to work, have somebody pick them up, or you got to call them like practice is over. But hey, that's part of it.
That's community.
Take care of these
it's
kids.
Community.
This is the Jackie Robinson community.
And baseball taught me how to be tough. On top of all that you said, it did. It taught me that community, and it taught me how to be tough, bro. Because I think when a lot of us played baseball at a younger age, and we had a black coach who was an ex-tennis player, he was a hustler, bro. He used to be in Hyde Park, hustling people on the tennis court, you know what I mean? And he'd be gambling on our games, and he liked to drink. And he'd be drunk. Sometimes he wouldn't show. I swear they took the Bad News Bears off of us, bro. Sometimes he wouldn't show up, and then he'd show up late to practice and be like, well, y'all know what to do. And so we learned. But he toughened us up. Like, that man would be like, that man, and I think a lot of people learn how to get tough through baseball. Stand in there. Don't be scared of that ball. I'm going to throw it to Coney, and then we'll get it back to JB.
You know, other one thing I like about, and again, I don't know what you guys talked about, but the other good thing I loved about JRW is that you play with some of the best players in the city, and you got to learn who those players were. You know, it's different when you're in high school and you play them in a game and stuff. You don't really know who those players are. But I played against people that I played against during the season. But when there's a bond that you guys actually create, and that bond is actually fostered all the way through.
All those practices, all those pre-seasons, all-star practices. Yeah, you start seeing some of the same faces. Yeah.
And then it gets more challenging, because you know what? When the season starts up, you're playing against the people that you play with in the summer league, and you're like, I was a pitcher.
And so they know your tendencies. Yeah.
That's right. And I knew these cats, and you know what? I tell you, they were actually some of the toughest cats because they knew my stuff, I knew their stuff, and let me just tell you, man, I would have to throw like 15 pitches or so just to they'll be fouling balls off and that sort of thing because they wait for that pitch that I have to throw. But
and you lost that mystique. One thing about a pitcher, bro, it's a mystique. You know what I mean? If you buddies, it's all. I'm telling you, any young pitcher out there, if y'all listening, keep your mystique. I'm telling you, man, keep your mystique. It was, I don't know, it was always easy for me to bat against a pitcher that I knew, you know what I'm saying, that I was familiar with. Even in the major leagues, the best closers and the best pitchers, they kept that. They wasn't your buddy.
Joe,
but it's a whole different level,
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Joe, we this has been my sophomore year, so it's probably been right before you got to Lindblom. We had a city playoff game, so we went to the city playoffs. And we were playing at Morgan Park. And, with me being from the hundreds in the 90s, there were about 6 of the guys on Morgan Park that I already knew. And at one point, they had a couple guys on, and the game was tight. And if you lost, you were out. And, coach, timeout kind of walked out to the mound. And he told me don't throw nothing but fastballs. And, I've always been chill, so I ain't one to really talk back too much. But I was like, nah, coach.
Not these guys. Right here. Yeah, not these guys. Right.
Nah, I'm not gonna be able to just throw them fastballs. It's gonna get ugly if we do that. You might.
Hey, JB, this guy's been raking my fastballs since we were 8. I can get them out, but not that way. Go ahead.
Yeah. He said nothing but fastballs, and he said it sternly, Joe. So I was like, man, so I went ahead and I did, I worked around a little bit, and he looked up, looked from the sides, and then I just went in and threw the fastball, and my boy hit it back at me, man, full speed. So I was able to catch it, and that was the 3 outs. But it's funny when you play against the guys that you come up with playing travel ball with, because they know you, they know your stuff, and you know them. So that's a funny.
And you
funny
don't
point.
have that stranger factor, man. The hardest person for me to hit was a kid that I never went up against that had good stuff, that wasn't up there playing, wasn't up there smiling. Wasn't that I was intimidated or nothing, because I wouldn't be up there playing either. When I'm in the box, it was business. It was all business. But that was the hardest for me, bro. But I'm gonna ask y'all, as far as blacks in basketball, what would you all say are the benefits? I mean, not basketball, baseball. What are the benefits of getting our young men and women into a sport of this magnitude? And you're a doctor, Coney, as opposed to something like football. And why don't we go after this bag? As a black community, we chase every single bag. We'll sell heroin, and we won't play baseball. Can somebody talk to me?
Yeah, so baseball is one of those things that it's not one of those fast sports, and unfortunately, I think media has a lot to do with it. Baseball is something that, you kind of set your tone. I like pitching because I was always involved in what's going on. But, when you watch it on TV, you don't have the adrenaline that you see with basketball and football. Unfortunately, we see a lot of our more successful black athletes, they're playing football, they're playing basketball, not many playing baseball. It's not safe going to the park these days. I think it's the main reason too. You gotta feel comfortable in the neighborhood that you're in. And families just don't feel comfortable in sending kids to the park. Where I came from, it was like blacktop, basketball 24/7, but it was a different time and age. People learn how to become a man on the court. And those same people that played basketball actually play baseball too. But today, I think it's a lot different when you're sending your kid to the park. You don't know if your kid going to come home. Yeah. And then from a media standpoint, much of the hype is coming around. I mean, look at tonight. Tonight, everybody right now have their eyes glued on, who's going to the
football,
who's going to NFL. There's no draft for baseball. No
right.
one's getting but let me just tell you, people can make a great career and play a lot longer playing baseball than they can in any other sport. And I think it's a phenomenal sport. We don't take our kids to baseball games anymore. I grew up in Wrigley Field. And so for me to see that drilling as a kid, it's something I latched onto. I happen to be good at it. And, for me, it was a way out in to stay off the streets, because if I didn't play baseball, I'd have been doing something else with my time, probably something not positive. But they gave me another way to bond with another group of guys where we had something in common, and we just wanted to win back in the day. And you know what? I'm not gonna say, we had a great team, and we came back every year because we was winning trophies. I mean, we were running cats out left and right because Ogden Park, if you came to Ogden Park, you came to play ball. And that nucleus started there. But again, JRW was a little bit different from a structural standpoint, from a mentoring standpoint. And these cats had an interest on who you are and what your development was. And even when you play these cats, man, the other great thing about it is that after the game, they coming up and be like, man, Joe, great game. I mean, it's a camaraderie. In other games, you just kind of go home. You're there with your own team. But after the game, because you play with these guys in a whole different league, they're all coming up and you socialize. It's kind of like baseball today. When you look at basketball, and I mean, all these cats are friends, but when they're on the court, they're like warriors. They're going against each other. They're going up, and after the game, they shaking each other's hands. They're talking, and that's what it was like in JRW, which I did not get that feel when I played other summer leagues in other leagues.
Well said. And so I'll throw it to JB. Well said, bro. Really well said. And if you had anything to comment on what he said, and then also, why aren't we chasing that bag and steering? I remember Haywood Russell used to always tell me, like, he used to be like, Brother Mills, man, if you can have you a catch, he's like, man, if you had your son and if he could be a catcher, he's like, your son could be a catcher, and if he bat from the left side, he could bat 225 as long as he can throw that leather and have a career in major leagues. And he wasn't playing. He was like, it's like I'd be playing with Ace, and I'd be like, and if I had a son, he'd be a kicker, in football, and he could play 20 years just kicking the ball. But JB, what's going on with us? And I think Coney, man, covered that well. It's not flashy. Is that it? It's not flashy enough for us, baseball.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big part of it. In fact, I think it's a 50-50 kind of a response. I think half of it is everything that Brother Coney just talked about. And then I think the other half of it is what we barely touched on earlier, and that's that it's socioeconomic. See, back in the 70s and the 80s, well, let's loop in what Ace said earlier. This is all about volunteering. So I coach a lot. He coaches a lot. So I'm out there every day. Tomorrow we got a game in Wisconsin, Milwaukee. I'm in a 3-day tournament with my 9-year-old, so I can't see my 14-year-old play at all.
So you guys are saying here that you guys are both being pimped by your respective leagues that you work for. Pimped. You're getting pimped by
I look at it as value. I'm laughing, but man, that's value.
Potatoes, pimped value. Go ahead, though.
Yeah, it's value. So, I'm not able to see that. I'm not able to see my daughter play a high school game tomorrow. But the reality is
TATN. My fault, bro. I'm just tripping. You know me.
Yeah.
But no, yeah.
But the reality is it is a volunteer type of a game.
Yes, sir.
And in order to volunteer, guess what you need? You probably need time. And the only way you're going to have time is if you got your household squared away.
That's a good point.
Single male, family male, whatever. But the jobs that were available to Black cats in general in 60s, 70s, 80s, it's a different ball game now. No pun intended. So back then, we might have in a neighborhood 10 or 11 or 12 Black fathers that can actually coach a team. So the kids go there and we can kind of get there. I don't know if that many people have that much free time now with the way things are socioeconomically. And what I mean by that is it's so much more expensive. Joe just said it. He had someone that would maybe pick him up and pick up other kids and take them to the game. I mean, you got to have a lot of time for us to be able to do that now.
Money, extra gas, all types of stuff, man, that ain't going on in our community a lot.
We're not talking about one guy in the neighborhood.
Yes.
10 or 12. Yeah, you can find one. Yes. You can find Ace in Chicago. You can find
you're talking about sacrifice.
Right.
Yeah. And so when I played ball, it was $75 per kid. to get them to play a summer league, you know, to be able to play summer in-house baseball. Now,
but bro,
if
we should shovel snow to raise our money. But go ahead. I mean, we're gonna get into solutions later. But go ahead. You know what I mean? Fundraisers. I mean, but go ahead, bro. You go ahead. No, you're right. You're right.
But now, and I'll make a point. I'm gonna wrap it up. But now, to play travel baseball, unless you're sponsored by the Sox, that's why I love the program in the city. If you're not sponsored that way, it's going to run you about $1,500 per kid for travel.
Wow.
So you may say, well, I don't need to do travel. Why don't I just do it?
Hell no, I don't need to do that for $1,500.
There are no in-house leagues in the city.
Wow.
If you want competition to be able to play college ball at pros,
and be seen,
you have to play travel.
Wow.
Travel's $1,500 per summer.
Okay. So that's the design then. That's a design. They've paid us out of they've costed us out of the business.
Yeah, so you're not, just to wrap that up, you're not going to necessarily be able to afford that regularly.
Hell no.
There it is right there. There it is right there.
Let me tell you something. Afford it. I can afford it and wouldn't pay it for my son. Because I know I wouldn't, bro. I know I could be putting it in this college fund or some shit. You can stand on the wall and I can throw you pitches like everybody else and you're going to play high school ball and rake. But I mean, I hear where you're coming from, bro. I mean, I'm not throwing that at you. I'm just throwing that at society. So Ace, I want you to kind of take that as when JB wraps it up. Like, what do you think if they haven't covered it all? And then I want to wrap it up with a question on all of y'all. Coney, you probably wouldn't know this, and Ace, you didn't really cleat them up in baseball. Coney cleated them up, but Ace, you didn't lace them up really in basketball. JB didn't lace them up. Tori's out there. But JB, you hooped. What means more to y'all? What's more value, y'all? Winning a close basketball game against a great evenly matched team, right? What's more fun? But Ace, I want you to answer the first question that we're on, and then we're gonna throw this one. Or winning that close baseball game, that championship, that final game. You know how that is, man, when it's tight in that final play and somebody throws somebody out and make the tag. All right, but Ace, would you like to add anything to what they said as to why we're not?
I'm gonna piggyback on the socioeconomic part of baseball. As far as going past travel baseball and going into the college level. In the college level, baseball is considered a non-revenue generating sport. So they only allocate 17 full scholarships to a baseball team that you might have 30 or 40 players.
Stupid.
Now, wrap that around a black kid trying to get out of
one of those,
right? Go to college
and get one of those, right?
He's not going to get a full scholarship unless he's going to the major leagues next year.
Correct.
So he's going to get a partial scholarship, and he has to have A's in school to be able to afford to go to Division I school. And
you think these kids know that? These kids know that.
No, they don't know. Their parents don't know that until they get to the point that they're trying to get into college.
Wow.
So I don't know if this is a grand master plan by Major League Baseball and college or NCAA to limit the number of players that can't afford to go to college.
Brother Pullen said they're redlining us. They're redlining baseball. Go ahead, bro. That's what Brother Pullen said in the chat. Yeah.
So instead of being able to get a full scholarship like a college football player or a college
like anybody else,
lacrosse player or a college
badminton
basketball player,
right?
You have to have A's. You have to get this financial aid from the government, along with scholarships, along with your partial scholarship for baseball to be able to continue your career into college baseball. So that's another reason that the level or the amount of black baseball players is being streamlined into the major leagues. As opposed to, you have players coming from the foreign countries like Dominican or Cuba, and they don't have to attend college. They're being groomed to play baseball from the time that they're 3, 4, 10 years old, and they see they have a certain skill, and then they'll pay them to go to these baseball high schools and colleges in their countries, and then they come over here at 18, and that's all they've been doing is playing baseball. So they're not worried about college because they're coming over here to play baseball.
Baseball, yeah. Well, the minor leagues, bro, is killing. If they didn't have a minor leagues, and I want to go back to the other question for y'all, but the minor leagues is killing the game almost. So I feel like if there was no minor leagues and cats had to come out and go to college like everybody else, at least for 1 or 2 years, there would be people watching college baseball. Yes.
Yeah.
If Ken Griffey Jr. was raking for North Carolina, y'all don't think nobody would have been tuning in to watch that?
Let me say something real quick, and then I'm gonna let these guys go, and I'm gonna say it real quick.
Go ahead, bro.
What you're starting to touch on is the intricacies of baseball versus any other professional sport.
Yes.
Baseball's always been unique. It's more like a cartel. There really is no salary cap. There is no. I mean, there's a union. There's a union.
I know. They don't really
you're
play
right. The game the same way. So they don't hide the fact that it is a pimp game. If you can play ball, like Ace said, man, we don't care if you come from Venezuela, the Dominican, New York, Texas, Florida, wherever you come from, if you play the game, come on in and we will let the cream go to the top. But there are not really a lot of rules. It's kind of like the Wild Wild West. And that's why for years, and then I'll shut it down. That's why for years, the Yankees, year after year, you got Babe Ruth and you got Lou Gehrig. And you got Reggie Jackson and Dave Winfield. And you got Jeter and A-Rod. Man, because Steinbrenner owned oil.
They had a cabal.
There's no cap. There's no, how's it going to be fair? You can play games a little bit in the NBA and you play a little games in the NFL. LeBron and them are trying to reverse that, but that's all controlled. Baseball is not really a controlled, some of us got to go to college route, like Ace said, but that's not. You can do that or not. You can come right out of high school and go to the league. Correct. There are no rules. But I just wanted to touch on that because baseball is a unique professional sport. It really is. You can play a lot of games behind the scenes.
All right. And then so that question, JB, you've been in some tight basketball games. You've played in tournaments. What got you more? And I'm going to throw it to Coney, but what got you more? Close back. Go ahead. I'm
gonna tell you just like I told my brother, my son last night, Joe, and just like I told my son last summer, there's nothing to me, and Joe will know, than turning on a cat 70, 80, 90, 80 mile per hour fastball as a shorty and taking that to the gate. Man. That feeling for me, the feeling that you get in baseball, and I think it's because it's a team sport.
But it's so rare. And it's so rare, though. Even if you rake 30 home runs, it's still rare. Yes. Like a dunk, you can get a dunk every game. Go ahead, bro.
That feeling is unreal because it's the great neutralizer, and you see it in pro sports all the time. The guys in sports right now, Ace, Joe, they got the shirts wide open. They
hot dogging that, boy. Hey, George Floyd opened everything up, but Coney, what's for you?
Well, I love that about baseball. I love, scoring a touchdown is great. Hitting a three, dunking a ball, all that's great. Yeah. But for me, it's nothing like, I love pitching, Joe, and it's nothing like turning on.
I know what he's talking about. I remember that solid, and bro, when everybody watching be like, it's that buzz too. Ooh, everybody know you raked it. You know you raked it.
When they throwing that smoke. And they throwing that smoke. So I like that feeling. But
there's a sound involved when you get a hold of one like that moves the crowd. Yeah, there's a sound involved when you rake one.
Yeah.
Coney?
Turn it over to Joe,
though. I'm biased, obviously. I was a baseball and football player, but baseball is always my first love. And what I love about baseball is that I control the tempo, being a pitcher. Although I did also play first base.
Yeah, they did. Oh yeah, the pitchers control.
But you know what?
They piss me off with all that crap on the mound. Yeah, go ahead, bro.
And even when you have your great stuff, you got great batters, man. And you rely on your defense just as well as you rely on yourself. And you can have a great pitch and someone hit it through a gap. But you know what? It's always with that other player, turning up on an outfield, making that play to second base, getting that person out that could have been a double. And so, it is truly, truly a team sport. You cannot win that. I mean, in basketball, if you got a great player, man, into the second, you already know where the ball is going. Baseball.
You got a great player, you're guaranteed to make it to the playoffs in basketball. Not so much in baseball.
That's right. No matter how good your pitcher is, no matter how good stuff you're going in a tight game, you rely on your defense, and that's where baseball is won. It is a very, very special sport, and it's nothing like winning a championship in a close game, bases loaded, and you striking out somebody. I mean, it is like the best feeling ever. Or, you got your best stuff and you're about to, and it comes down to one play and someone hit a ball deep on you, and then some outfielder just make a phenomenal play. And because you know what, you did your great stuff, but they did their best stuff too.
They best play, right? And you can't do nothing but tip your hat and respect it. Or Coney, you're the ace, right? You did your job, you won your game, but now it's in the hand of the bottom pitcher in the deck because y'all are all out of arms, and everybody in the coaching staff and the players are all rooting for them. To your point about it's truly a team sport. Sometimes you could be the best and not even be on the diamond in baseball.
And the good thing about being a pitcher too, you may think you got your best stuff, but your catcher know who you are too. So your catcher, after the game goes around, your catcher is actually pretty brilliant. He got an understanding on how that person is standing. You may want to throw a fastball. He's like, no, you throw a curveball and you put it right here. So you got to have faith in your players. You got to move the people in the right place. Yeah. There's some strategy to baseball, and great coaches got to know, how to bring people in, how to bring them out, how to play everyone. We don't. And the good thing about JRW is that these guys matured in a way that, they play each other every single year. When you play in high school baseball, you're just showing up. You don't know who these cats are. But there is, they have done their research on the other teams. They know where the weak spots are. And it's just like basketball, where if you play these cats a lot, how, they're going to run this, or they're going to run, this defense. Football the same way. Baseball is not the same way. And you know what? Good batters know exactly where to place the ball. And good defensive player, you got to have those people in the right place. So there's a high IQ in baseball. I'm gonna say this one thing, and I'll leave it this here. One thing I love about other countries, first of all, they can play baseball all year round. When you're in Chicago, you have from the spring, you have the spring to basically the fall to actually play, baseball. So these guys have an advantage over you because they're playing all year round. It takes money for us to go to the batting cage. You just can't rely on the things and you know what? The white players, they do this. They invest in their kids where the black communities don't have that kind of resources to invest in. No. They can go up to, Lau, Illinois and be part of the Sox Academy and get that extra, whatever you need to mature yourself. Most of us are playing just, going to the park. Great, you got great talent, but again, it's how you take that raw talent and able to convert it to become a better player, and it could be something small in terms of, how you stance, how you hold your bat, it's every position is different. And that's what I think JRW offers you than any other league in Chicago.
Absolutely.
Man. Facts.
And really on the level of any black in-house organization in the country. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like there are a few good ones, but I think JRW is the creme de la creme. And it has been for really 40 or 50 years. I mean, they're 50 years now. Yeah. But that's the creme de la creme. And there are these other pockets that are going on now. We talked about the Chicago White Sox. They take the JRW players and they put them on a level that's elite. They play Puerto Rico and Florida and Arizona all over the place. So they're elite. And then there are two other ones. I think Pullman is now building up. And then I don't know if you played against Luke Collier. He's a little younger than me, Joe. But Collier went to the pros. In our era, Kenny Lofton went. He ended up.
Kenny Lofton. Yeah.
But Collier also does something big in Chicago. But again, those are expensive travel programs that are sponsored. See, in basketball meals for the AAU, Adidas, Nike. Oh man, if you got superstars in basketball, they'll pay that. They'll pay that. So AAU is out of control. But on the baseball, it is as well. But the sponsorships aren't there. So it's really cut out. You get an in-house like JRW, but that's far and few between. There are not many of those. And that's about the only one in the city, period. Where I played ball, I love Roseland, Gately, Rosemore. I mean, it was solid, but those are long gone,
Yeah. Well, hey, look, y'all, I'm going to share this, and here's what I want y'all to do. Think about your wrap up, because we want to talk solutions. I'm not going to share the whole video. You got some black kids, modern day. Can y'all can't hear this. I did something wrong. Can y'all hear this? Can y'all see this?
We can hear you now.
Both. And see it and hear it.
Can you see the video?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Appreciate it. I gotta get the volume up. Something's going on. All right, here we go.
Watch out.
All right, that should be better. They're gonna talk to these kids, bro, about
Okay, after this, I'm gonna play one-on-one.
why they don't play baseball. Freak me out.
Or basketball instead of baseball, because you feel me, basketball is like the original sport. You feel me? It's the New York sport. It's where you play basketball.
Well, I think basketball is funner probably than baseball. To be honest, I don't like even going on the grass, sliding and all that, hurting myself. So I don't like doing that.
Give me that! Give me that!
So y'all ain't seeing this video?
Yeah, I'm saying.
Yeah, we see it.
Okay. I don't think it's showing up on. All right, never mind. I'm tweaking. It's alcohol. I don't know why they're not talking.
Blame it on the goose.
There it is. We're about to get into it now. Just wondering where these kids are getting it from. And then they say, like, nobody watches baseball. I used to love watching baseball, man.
It's baseball's fault.
My name is Terrell Parker. I'm in charge of getting kids to college.
My name is Skip. I coach for the Bonnie Youth Club organization, and I'm a head coach of the 15 New
He must
Bonnie.
play for JRW.
My name's Norris.
Trying to tell me he's 16.
And I'm the president of the Bonnie Youth.
What are you trying to say?
Brooklyn Bonnie.
Roll it. I feel they don't play as much because it's harder there's more money to play. Gotta buy bats, more equipment, stuff like that, and they're not
I
exposed.
feel like the lack of youth organizations in the inner city is the cause of young black men not getting into the sport of baseball. It's much easier for them to have access to basketball courts or youth football or youth soccer than to get them into baseball. And with the price of baseball going up, I feel like
But
it's
youth
further
football
black
ain't
parents
cheap.
away from the sport.
Oh.
But the NFL is breaking bread, huh?
Yeah. The slave trade, you can go out there and
You might have one kid that
run as many kids to the combine as you need to.
6'8".
You need a lot of them too because of CTE and all the injuries and stuff.
He got
Average career is 3 years.
money for basketball than he did in baseball.
11.7 scholarships per institution. That's what you was talking about, Ace.
Nowadays, there's
12 scholarships for
lacrosse,
baseball. It's
soccer's
9 on the
very
roster
popular.
starting.
There are a lot more options, and I think what
can't even have
happens
a pitcher's
is
rotation.
basketball is
Well, it's every
a
year,
quicker
so.
game. The game ends faster, all right, and there's more activity. Football is a macho game, all right. Baseball, it's a very
It's a macho
anaerobic game.
game, no, man. They're not playing it
And
right. They
I
don't think
think that
baseball
it's
is
just
macho.
not
We
grabbing
had
their
swag when we
attention.
played that
All right?
motherfucking
Why
game, boy.
specifically
Baseball's
in black
thinking man's
culture?
game.
That I'm not sure.
Yeah, but it was
I
macho
feel like
too.
baseball is a sport that's
I mean, it's
handed down from
definitely
generation to
macho.
generation.
But, you know,
So if father
gotta
doesn't play
be
baseball,
tough
The white
standing
boys was
there.
taking that.
baseball, something that
Yeah,
bond over.
but
Somebody
they
throw it
they
90
didn't let
miles
us
an
be
hour.
macho with it. You know, the major leagues didn't let you be macho, Ace.
You got to be tough to stand in there. Like throwing at you 100 miles an hour.
Come on, man. When you, like what Coney was saying, when you snatch a home run over center field, somebody said that when you snatch that, bro, there'd be nothing but macho after doing that. Coming in, you got the ball in the glove, and you making everybody wait to see if you got it. Man, hold on, my fault, y'all. I'm gonna take it back to the very beginning. I'm wondering if these shorties, man. These shorties broke it down. So, these shorties. They were so candid. But they don't know better. They're like they're in the project. They're hooping with jeans on. That should tell you something.
Come on. Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Look at the baseball fields. Nobody's been on there in years.
But this, yeah, right. That's what they're saying. But all it takes is like, you know, y'all already doing it, but it just takes somebody to go out there with the balls and the bats and and get a team together.
Find some funding.
Yeah.
Okay, after this, I'm gonna play you one-on-one.
And you will find funding. And that's what I be saying, JB.
Basketball instead of baseball, because for me, basketball like the.
Your mama don't have to get that wig. You can pay for you to play baseball this summer.
Well, Ace, this comes down what I'm trying to tell y'all though, man, and I'm gonna get back to y'all got kids. Why don't these kids? Bro? Nobody was sponsoring. We didn't have Nike. We didn't have. Listen, bro. I'm not lying. Like, man, we would use old gloves. You know, you'd ask your mom for a glove for a present. You hold on to it.
Yeah,
you know,
those days are gone.
You might have got a job, or you know what I mean. You did things to help facilitate your dream. Why don't we have our kids do that?
It's a different era. It's expensive. It's an expensive baseball. I mean, you can't have them go out and get a job and get a glove and to pay for a $400 bat and pay $1,500 to $3,000 to be on the team.
$400 bat.
Yeah, that's on sale. So from 13 to 14 up, if you ain't got that piece, if you don't have that piece, you know, that composite, you know, Easton is still around, Joe.
Yeah.
You know, Easton is still around.
The Louisville Slugger.
Them Demarinis.
Them
Demarinis and them Marucci. I mean, those, man, they $500 bats.
You used to find a bat in the hood and go play strikeout. Now you can't just go find a bat, wood bat.
Go play ball. We go up there. If Joe got the Easton, man, even if I'm playing, I get that bat. It just
JB and I remember we used to, you know, man, we used to share gloves. Remember, like if we were playing, you know, street baseball and it might be, you know, 7-on-7, you know, Coney might not have a glove, you know, 7-on-7, so we only needed 7 gloves. We knew we only needed 7 gloves. Right, right. So you start making it happen.
Yeah. You know, it just when you talk organized meals, you know, you talk about a baseball game, you need 18 guys technically in a real organized.
Yeah.
18 up front, so that's 18 households that are able to pay whatever it is for an in-house league, and that's cool. That's only 2 teams. You know, I mean, can I find?
I got what y'all saying. I got what you're saying. Find that all over the city. You said, and Brother Mills, without funding, go find that all over the city. When I, as a parent, can just put my kid at the YMCA and can start shooting hoops.
Yeah, or just walk to the park, right? Just walk to the park, walk to the alley. Somebody might have a basketball. You can do a number of things and get into other sports. Baseball is one that is really being priced out because, like I said, you need the time. And you need the money, and the money. If you're talking about real competition, if you're talking about trying to get to college, and like, why are we going after the bag? You got to play the competition in baseball, and so that's travel.
Wow.
You
So
know,
you got to invest to go after the bag. Go ahead, bro.
you know,
Go ahead.
I think another problem, when I look back at the people I played ball with, the majority of people that played ball had some type of male. I'm not sure it's always a father, but some type of male in their life that exposed them to baseball.
Yeah, I had older brothers that play.
And they travel with them. They you know, you need some type of you need someone that's going to get you interested in baseball, because it is a big time.
Watch it.
The time commitment in baseball. I mean, listen, to be good at whatever you do is a time commitment. Baseball is a different type of time commitment.
Goodness.
I mean, you know, it's a long season. I mean, look at these cats now in professional. They play more baseball games than any other sport. They play more games than any other sport.
Yeah, 162.
And a lot of times you travel. A lot of times you can't. You know, how do you get from one part to another? You know, so if you don't have someone to introduce you to the game, you know, even if you can't afford a glove, which I think everyone needs their own glove personally, if you're gonna play the game, you know, how do you get to the different parts?
Well, that's what we're about to discuss now. Solutions. Is there a solution? Like, is there a way that Silverbacks like us can find funding and start our own type of league all over the city and find a way where it's cheap and free for, you know, kids who can't afford it, link it all into some sort of, and then get funding?
Well, before we get into that, I want to send a shout out to Bo Jackson, Bo Jackson Give Me a Chance Foundation, who has sponsored my older son.
Big up. Bo knows charitable giving.
Yeah, so he sponsored my older son for his training that led him into getting into college. He gave him money.
But good things about Bo Jackson.
Gave money at the end of semesters based on his grades in college, as far as helping him continue through college. You know, so it was a little stipend every semester while he was attending college, and Dukes, he's also sponsoring him for training out at Bo Jackson Elite Sports in Lockport, Illinois, and other things. He's teaching. He has golf training for these kids, and they got financial training through the Bo Jackson Foundation. So big shout out to Bo Jackson and the Give Me a Chance Foundation.
Hey, big ups.
Like that.
Big ups. Yeah. So solutions as we wrap up. If y'all final words, you know, we want to leave with some. I hate the word hope, but we want to leave people with some ideas, some solutions, something to hold on to. Is there anything we could do? Because like I remember, man, like just to give y'all an idea, y'all remember the peak era in my mind, like when all those black guys were running around with the St. Louis Cardinals. Willie McGee. Yeah, Ozzie, man. It was, man. Yeah, Ricky Henderson, man. This thing was coming together. I know he was on a different team, but yeah, it was coming together. It was coming together with all the
his records will never be broken. Frank Thomas.
So what can because y'all, man, I didn't know. I guess I'm still in my pricing. My pricing is still 1980. Y'all talk about those bats that were like $40 in 1980, which was a lot of money then, But wow, $400.
Right.
Yeah, I could think of so many things I could do. Y'all, you don't need no bat, but every team don't need a bunch of bats. So what are the solutions? What are the solutions? You only need two bats per team. Figure it out, kids. You get up there and use that bat.
Well, you can't do that now because of COVID. So every kid's definitely got to have their own bat. So they can't touch their own equipment. They can't touch their own helmet. Other people's helmets. It's a different era.
Wow.
So put that on top of the expense of playing baseball now. It's
sounds like the only solution is to come up with some sort of crowdfunding group, people who believe in baseball, silverbacks that believe in baseball, and they just put money into a pot, and then that money could be distributed to different entities that may have a player that needs funding.
Well, in the city, it can be done. It's just a matter of people believing in baseball.
Correct.
And I think that's the key. I mean, you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have the interest of the kids, then that's a problem. For one,
correct.
Our parks needs to be better groomed. When I travel to places, they got announcers, they got concession stands.
You have to have whoever's job it is to operate that park. They have to be out there doing their job. A park director, like Ace was saying, all you gotta do is go out there with a baseball. But go ahead, brother Coney. And then the kids will come. So when you say the kids ain't interested, kids ain't doing nothing, bro. That's how we got interested in stuff, Coney. We would see other people out there doing it, and then we would go do it with them.
That's right. So I think that if you get a group of kids, a lot of these kids have idle time and they have a lot of talent and they don't really know their talent. But if their friends are doing it and they're motivated, they'll come out and they'll at least try it. You know what I'm saying? So the interest, we got to find a way to, get the interest of our Black men at a young age to get involved in something. First of all, I don't care what.
Something. Right.
Basketball is easy because you know what? You can play basketball in your alley and have some fun. But baseball is an organized game and you need multiple people.
Y'all keep saying that. We're going to talk about how they're redlining basketball as we speak. But go ahead. They're using the exact same formula for basketball as they did with baseball. Sure, you can always go. But as far as organized, you got to be at the camp and this and this and that. Go ahead, bro.
And a lot of these communities you live in, people are not building baseball diamonds. You can find a court, but you don't find a baseball diamond.
Yeah, you might find a softball diamond, but you're right. Yeah.
Right. So you need to get people involved, and then show them what baseball can actually do for them. And another way to look at baseball is another way to look at college. Some people go to military just to pay for their school. They don't realize you can pick up a golf club, you can pick up a baseball. You can swim. There's other ways to make it to go to college.
Absolutely.
Versus thinking you don't have an option. And I think that we don't really talk to our kids and say, you know what, this is enough. You have a great arm. I've seen you play.
Man,
you have good hand-eye coordination. You just got to take that kid out there around some other kids, their same age, and they'll have a time. That's what it was for me. When I first played baseball, I had never touched a league ball in my life. I went out there because my neighbors went.
Right.
I was actually not allowed to go to the baseball park.
That's how it always happens. Yeah.
And my brother-in-law was the one. He became the assistant coach just so my mother felt comfortable about me playing baseball. But we used a church van.
Yeah.
We used a church van to pick up the kids. The ballpark was the meeting place. He picked them all up, took them to the game, and brought them back home.
And I paid for pizza after certain games. You got pizza, in certain games.
You got to win first. We're not buying no pizza if you
right. Certain games. You had to win big. It wasn't just every game. It wasn't every win. You wasn't getting
it's
pizza.
a ministry,
Yeah, it was a game he might have had money riding on. You got pizza.
But the interest, I think, is the most important thing. Like my son was a phenom in baseball. He played pitcher and third base, and at that age they kind of rotate all the kids to different things. And when he came to pitch, nobody can hit him. But you know what? His interest was more in basketball because it was a fast-paced game. He could score.
Chicks dig it. The chicks dig it.
Exactly. He wanted to. At that time, he's watching Michael Jordan. No one's watching baseball games.
And the popular guys are usually on the basketball team, but that's stupid. I bet you if I was ranking that Eisenhower, it wouldn't have mattered.
Baseball games anymore. Baseball game used to be the family sport.
Yeah,
it's our responsibility to get our kids involved, but involvement is number one. Then once you get the involvement done, you got to have a safe environment. Okay, these parks got to be safe for kids. It can't be like a shoot 'em up place. They got to find the security. And number three, you got to have diamonds, which is ready to play baseball. In the inner city, the grass is overgrown. You really can't slide. You hurt yourself.
Glass and gravel's all in the dirt. The dirt is hard. Yeah, crabgrass. Yeah,
exactly. So then once you get that going and you get them fostered, I really think they will find a love in it. There's a great love in baseball, man.
The city of Chicago could provide some resources to stop these kids from picking up guns and stuff. But go ahead. Solutions. You guys got solutions? Keep going. We want to hear solutions. Those are great. We want to hear solutions. We love solutions.
We got to stop, the crap. 2 years ago, we were told that the state of Illinois passed a budget that was granting
baseball money.
Well, was it $5 million? I think it was $5 million to Jackie Robinson Park. They haven't broken ground on anything yet.
Right, never got the money. Yep, that's what be
Well,
happening.
everybody's taking credit for it. The alderman, the state representative.
Come out, take pictures, talk about they're doing this and that.
Put it on there. Campaign.
Got voted in.
Yeah, we got the money, but nothing's being done. So, it's just a matter of putting pressure on the people that have control of the bag and getting the kids out there, man. That
stadium would be a great recruiting tool.
Yeah. We were out there this past weekend, had a little workout, not this past weekend, this past Tuesday, workout, just getting out in the park, just having people seeing kids playing in the park. Yeah. But it's just tough nowadays. With this year we lost with COVID, and we lost a whole year of kids. So we got to get them back out there, get them off of those games, get them from the TV, get them to stop eating and getting out to the park, running and playing baseball. So, it's the mission for this year.
It's good perspective from a coach, and I'm gonna throw it to JB for solutions. And Joe Coney, I had it's weird, bro. Like maybe 6 years ago, I was coming home from work. I was working out in northwest suburb, living in the city, and it was an accident or something on the Kennedy. And your application takes you in the street, to avoid it. And I just happened to be going through the community, and there was these baseball diamonds all through these white communities, like within nice diamonds, like within every 8 block. And the difference was all the families were there having a good time, just whether your kid played baseball or not, Coney. They were there having a good time, supporting and out eating and paying for the chips.
Yeah.
Yes, that's community.
It's community.
That's community, supporting your kids, and you wonder why they're not shooting at you. But JB, any solutions? Because you're a baseball head.
Yeah, I think, well, there are two things going on. I think the topic that you hit on today, that's a huge one. So there's been a lot in the news in the last, 3 to 5 years about Black participation. When you guys are talking about Rick Henderson and Reggie Jackson and Dave Winfield, Ozzie Smith, those guys.
Vince Cole.
Back then, Blacks probably made up about 17%, just a little less than 20% of all the Major League Baseball players, which was good because, and I'm not talking about players
that's good.
Or players
that's great.
About domestic Black African Americans. So we made up probably about 17-18%. Now that number is probably about 6 or 7%. 6%, yeah. So it's way down.
Well, it's still better than Black ophthalmologists and Black dentists and stuff, but go ahead.
Yeah, it's a microcosm of society. The thing that's happening though, I think the thing that's happening and the reason why there is some hope, we'll use that word hope, is that the players that are coming from abroad or from other countries, Latin America, et cetera, they are commanding so much money.
To even get them here now,
Like Joe and like Brother Coney said, they command it because they play year round. So the players that come from elsewhere, they're good, man. They're good. There's nothing they can't do. So they cost a lot. So
but somebody invested in them. Somebody invested in them over there, had them swinging, but they were paying them to eat. So that's why they cost.
MLB.
So here's the deal. Here's the deal. How are we going to maintain the game without them completely taking over? Because, white players, they have what they have here in the U.S., but then the other players have what they have. And basically, Blacks have been squeezed out. So,
but why don't we do what they do?
We want to increase participation for Blacks, but some of it's economic. If we get more Black players in, I don't have to pay them as much as I pay these guys that are coming from Venezuela and from the Dominican. I mean, it's a different ball game.
I got what you're saying.
I say all that to say that in the last 3 years or so, there's been a real push. So another article, I think Ace mentioned the 5 million in Illinois. I also have read an article that 10 million was coming from players, the National Baseball Players Alliance. And I think Curtis Granderson, former baseball player, Chicago.
Big ups to Curtis Granderson.
Yeah, big to Kurt. Kurt is really the one at the head of that. So he put a bunch of the guys together, CC Sabathia, and on and on and on. So many ball players have now put their money up.
Breaking bread, yeah.
10 million getting ready to get dumped.
So you think COVID stopped? We would have seen a lot more of this if the COVID didn't happen? Like we'd have seen more fruits of all this money?
Well, it's coming. It's coming, yeah. I mean, it could have been last year. I read the article last year.
Yeah.
But it's still coming. That's 10 million here, 5 million there. The point that I'm getting at is we're talking about it on the show because we know it's needed.
Yeah.
But I think the greater body also needs
You're
it.
saying it's already moving. I got what you're saying.
It's already moving.
Yeah.
Because the salaries are out of control.
Man, bro.
Was my man Francisco? Yeah, Lindor. I mean,
man.
And they playing 18 years, bro.
Yeah. So once you start paying guys, 20 or 30 million a year and that kind of thing, and again, there's no real cap. There's a luxury tax in baseball, but there's no real salary cap. So it can just run. And if you don't reel that back.
JB, you gave me a thought. Then it's all economics. Cats like us, enterprising men, can say, I know it might sound slavery or harsh. We could take a kid, like say your kid or Ace's kid that shows promise, a promising young man in the sport, and start investing all the money we can into this promising young man. And then seriously, and there's 30 of these promising young men that we invest in as a corporation, and we invest and they get all the batting and we do it as a business. And then one or two of these promising young men will sign $30 million contracts and we'll take a cut of that. And then a cut of that cut will then be used to invest in more promising young men.
Yeah.
I'm saying if people are doing it, we can do it too.
It's happening, man. It's happening too. I mean, it's a slow burn, but big ups.
Yes, it's a slow burn.
Corey Ray, he made his MLB debut. He's a JR.
Shut out.
Yeah.
Somebody invested in these people. Y'all think I got off the boat yesterday? Yeah, somebody doing something. We got to get in the game, man. We got to get in the game.
Coach JRW. Yeah, Corey Ray. He just he made his MLB debut, so he's right from the hood. In fact, I went to high school with his father, Corey Ray.
Is that the one who went to Mount Carmel?
No, he went to.
No. That was the number one pick. That was the number one pick.
Yes. That was Ed Howard.
That's Howard.
14 team.
And that's what I'm saying, bro. So if we could take a kid, these kids already at Jackie Robinson, y'all seeing these kids, y'all know who these kids are. I could have told you that kid had a great chance of getting drafted high. I know they have laws against it. Maybe it's illegal. I don't know, but maybe it's an agency. Maybe I got to call Nuke.
It's not illegal. Corey Ray. Well, actually, Corey Ray throws camps for Jackie Robinson for the last few years. As a matter of fact, he threw a camp.
I see what's going on.
With the Jordan brand, and he gave.
They're already doing this shit.
Yeah, he gave the kids little tees, some shorts.
It's coming, Meal.
It's working, but
that's where the money is, bro.
They're trying to do it from their ground level and then get the corporations to back them. But they got to do it out of their own.
And it's a slow burn, like JB said.
But you know what? We also have to be at the table, man. So what broke my back? I made the walk-up team in Illinois, and I was getting redshirted, okay, and I didn't really understand what redshirted meant at the time. And I went there with my boy Sean Hawkins. Sean, I think was one of the best players at that time coming out of JRW with me, and. The issue is that the coach had no intentions of playing either of us. We're the only two blacks on the team. So I think part of it is that we need to we have a great farm system of great kids, but if we don't get a shot, at the college level,
right?
Because they want to play other people, no matter how good you are, you don't get to that next level. Thanks. So you need to have a connection. Well, they need to have some type of farm system where they're letting these kids play. And that, for me, maybe I gave it up too early. I wasn't, for me, when I went to college, I was more concerned about dropping out of school than I was playing baseball. And so I just turned my uniform in. I wasn't going to sit out for a year. I didn't want to sit on the bench. I didn't want to come out the dugout, which is what their plan was for me. But then you got a guy like Sean Hawkins throwing mid-90s, great baseball player, one of the best JRW had that year, and wasn't going to play. So you can do all the right things and not have the people on the other side that will play you. And I think that's another issue that we have.
Yes.
To get people to the next level.
You know, we glossed over that, but we were covering that in the lead into this and then last week. Yes, that's huge. When we were talking about Tory and they did the same to me. That's a whole, especially, and it's the times have changed. But yes, that was like we were being corralled, Brother Coney. Like for me, I left the Hyde Park area and then we moved to Cal Park, and it was a thing. Derek Pickett, he ended up becoming an alpha. We played in Hyde Park Little League. He played on the Blue Gargoyle. We were both all-stars. And he went there and he stuck it out. He was the only speck of black that dealt with that racism. That man should have been starting varsity his freshman year. That man sat on the bench buried behind bums. He ended up starting his junior year and his senior year, you know. But I should have done that. He had a dad and mom in the picture, you know. I should have done that. And I feel the same way you about giving up. But see, for me, I was playing football. I was starting on basketball. So I guess I'm kind of answering my own questions. The girls, the this, the that, and the baseball wasn't really. But I was steered away. If I would have had a black coach, if I'd had Ace or JB there, and they were pulling me to the side, and they're like, what are you doing, Mills? Get on the baseball. What are you doing? And getting me on the field, and I had an opportunity to play, I would have stuck it out. But again, that's just an excuse, you know, knowing what I know now, my love and passion for the game, interviewing all of you cats on the show. You never let nobody tell you you can't do shit, no matter what they do. Even pledging, you know that, Coney. Everybody, that was every day. You can't do shit. Get out of here. But you keep coming back. You know what I mean? You keep coming back, bro.
Yeah. But for our black kids who are brought up in all black communities, when they're put into these white situations where they're the only one that look like them.
Just what happened.
It changed a little bit.
We moved to Blue Island, and we didn't understand that at that time it was a lot of alt-right and a lot of disdain for us even being there. So they had certain things in football and certain things in baseball, and they was going to get the running back positions. I'm not making this up. The grunt work positions, the CTE positions, and basketball. And they would literally say things. Well, Mills, you've got basketball. You've got. Hey, what are you talking about? I love baseball. It was kind of geared, but in all 100. I didn't play because, none of my other guys were playing. Pickett was playing, but none of my other guys were playing who was on the basketball team and football team, and they were having fun. They were having fun after school. And I said, you know what? I just want to go home and have some fun. It was a dumb decision, And I know if I had like a father in the picture, he would have been like, man, if you don't take your dumb ass on that baseball team, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So
even in my son graduated in 2020, he didn't get the playing time that he wanted or deserved at this PWI school. But the coach's exit interview with him was like, "You got a great education," and
I hate hearing that, man.
Graduated from a great school, So even you, Brother Coney, you had no chance of playing at U of I back when you were there.
No chance, Brother Coney.
No chance
Not
at
then.
all.
And that's what Ace keeps trying to say. Things are a little different now, but like that quote we did on the show last night, Malcolm X said it, bro. He said racism is like a Cadillac. There's a new model every year, bro. So we could sit here and say it ain't the same. It's the same, but it's just packaged differently, bro.
You got it. You got it.
It'll be less severe, but it's the same, man. It's the same. If not, we would see more brothers playing that game.
Absolutely. Because who doesn't want to win? Who doesn't want to have the fastest player on the field? Who doesn't want the best athletes on your team?
Correct. The solution is more men like Ace and JB. And then cats like Tony, sending y'all checks to, help with what y'all doing. But that's the solution. And cats like me, of course, getting involved because I know baseball. But I think that would be the solution, bro. And then we could start linking, connecting more dots as we get in the field.
We got to get to the table.
Mm-hmm.
We got to get the boardroom. We got to get to the coaching positions. We got to get to the scouting positions. We got, even at Ray School, Karan Walker is scout for the Cubs, and he just got their field redone.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, that's a step for them. He's got the big baseball program in the city. But you know, it's
But the
all
white people had broke all that Ray School up. They're just letting that start happen again, bro. Ray School was a meeting place of the South Side, and it was a safe place where you could hoop and play baseball. You remember all sports were happening, bro.
Yeah.
And they broke that up. The white people, the liberals, they started complaining and broke it up. Took the rims down, and now they're opening it back up.
Yeah.
You gotta let the kids play, man. If they don't play, they're gonna kill each other.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because they think that's playing.
Yeah.
Until they, until they catch that bullet, or they're in jail, they think that's playing. But I would say that's the solution. More men like JB, Ace, and then Brother Coney, who loves the sport, linking up with those cats and greasing their palms.
Many kids need something to do.
Yeah, they do, man. Besides shoot at each other. So that's all I got, man. So if y'all, man, we could wrap it up. I'm in Vegas and we're about to go paint this town crimson, Hey, you gonna be here tomorrow, huh, bro?
Yeah, I'll touch down probably about 11 o'clock tomorrow night, man.
Tomorrow night?
Yeah.
Hey,
you leaving?
How you? No, I ain't leaving till like Monday. How you? I can come get you, bro, because I'm like 5 minutes from the airport, bro.
Yeah, I'll be rolling, man. I'll be rolling.
You rented a car?
But we can, we're gonna link up though.
I'll be rolling, but let's line up.
Yeah, rolling. Yeah. I feel you. It's nice to have a whip. I be telling my wife that sometimes I just want the whip because I need to go outside and smoke.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, but hey, man, I really appreciate y'all doing this, man. So I think I know where my mindset is, and we'll revisit this down the road. Because I frequently say to myself in Inglewood, I'll be like, why don't I go to that basketball court every Saturday with some basketballs? And I know those kids would show up. It's different, though, out there. You don't see the little kids wandering around like you see them in Chicago, man. They literally be running around looking for stuff to do. You know what I mean? It's sad, bro.
We probably need to do a part 2 to this. So we haven't touched on the the Jackie Robinson aspect as far as breaking into baseball back in the day. And also Ken Griffey Jr. has become he's gotten a position with Major League Baseball to do more introduction of
try to get more blacks. So it seems like they care and they're putting in emphasis, and baseball dropped the ball on that, letting those alt-right people tell us we can't do this and letting those white boys act a certain way. Baseball did it, man, and that's why nobody's watching it, bro. They don't realize that America, the swag of America is us, and we all work hand in hand. Those are our kindred brothers, so to speak, cousins. I'm talking about white people. And they just don't realize, let us move how we move and do what we do. Just let us do what we do, and we all going to make more money. Y'all got to stop being stupid. Baseball was booming with Reggie Jackson and all them and the bat flipping. And it was booming, man. The brothers had the gold chains, and we was watching it,
Yeah.
Winfield.
Yeah. Now we pick it up again. It's been a pleasure, Mills. I love it. TATN Network. All good. All good.
Appreciate you, JB. Yeah, we'll pick it up, and I'll let y'all know when we bring this topic back, man.
For sure. Take care, brothers.
All right.
Love, bro.
Keep the word going, man. Great platform.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, brother Coney. I appreciate that, man. We're going to keep it going, man.
Been a great show, man. Good talking to you, brothers.
And I'm gonna see you tomorrow, man. So y'all be peaceful, bro. One love.
Yeah. 5-1. That's my birthright. We doing it big this weekend now.
Big time. Hey, and as they say, and guard your grill and knuckle up, and as we say right here on TATN, and don't forget to bring your mouthpiece. Hey, y'all guys gotta get y'all some mouthpieces, man.
I got you.